being alone isn't necessarily the hard part about life. It's a silence that gets you. When there's no one texting you, no notifications on your phone, no plans for the day, for the evening, for the weekend, you start wondering if something's wrong with you. If everyone else is just moving on and you're just kind of stuck in a loop. But what if being alone isn't necessarily a punishment? What if it's the test that really shows you who you are in life? There's a loneliness trap that we all get kind of wrapped into at times. We grew up believing being alone always meant that you were behind in life, that you didn't have a relationship, a friend group, a constant distraction. You were missing something. But what if the noise was just the thing that was keeping you lost in the first place? See, most people are afraid of being alone and they're afraid of meeting who they are without they're afraid of meeting who they are without somebody else around them. You're not lonely, you're just detoxing from attention, which is so prevalent in today's kind of culture that you can see it just everywhere online, on the internet, just everywhere. And there's a difference between who you are when you're with people and when you're not. And you know that too yourself. But which version of you can get more stuff done? That version of you being by yourself or that version of you who is constantly needing attention or constantly just being around people? See, there's a difference between being alone versus being isolated. There, isolation is running towards. Oh, sorry, isolation is more so running away from the world. But you know, when you're like having a solitude type of lifestyle, it's just walking toward yourself. Solitude is bliss. That's also a song that I like by Tame Impala, but it doesn't matter. It's just that's sidetrack. When you isolate yourself, though, you hide from the world. But when you choose solitude, you're choosing to heal. Being alone doesn't mean you're missing out. It just means you stopped outsourcing your peace. You finally stopped. But aloneness can reveal something that's pretty magical. The truth is, being alone exposes the parts of you that you've truly been avoiding in your life, the insecurities you buried down deep, the habits that you've ignored over time, the noise you used to drown out the emptiness. When you sit with yourself long enough, it just stops being scary and it becomes clear, more so clear. The silence you hate, it actually is your clarity trying to speak to you, trying to tell you something important. There's kind of a shift that happens. You don't find yourself through other people. You find yourself through boredom, through confusion, through reflection. The moments when nobody's really watching you, that's when the real version of you starts to form and come into fruition. So you gotta stop chasing company and start chasing clarity. You'll know when you've grown, when you can be alone and not reach for your phone, when silence doesn't feel like necessarily a threat, but it feels like home to you. Eventually, you realize that being alone isn't about missing people, it's about missing yourself. When you stop trying to fill the silence, you start hearing what's actually wrong with you, what's actually wrong in the situation you're in. You see what habits keep you numb. You start to notice thoughts that you've been avoiding. The and realistically, that's the uncomfortable part about the whole entire thing. But it's also where the rebuild starts. You can't find any direction until you stop running from your own noise in your life. That's the truth. When you finally get used to being alone, something strange happens. You master this like kind of power of detachment in your life. You stop begging to be understood. You you stop chasing people who don't choose you. Sorry. You realize not everyone deserves access to you. And that's not arrogance, but that's peace overall in your life. The world teaches you how to be social. Solitude will teach you how to be sovereign. You can't be free if you're scared of your own company. So you have to kind of redefine connection. You know, once you're grounded in solitude, connection will just hit different. You stop needing people and you start choosing them. You start choosing when you want to go to things, when you want to be around. You don't look for someone to fix the emptiness in your life. You look for someone who adds the piece that you've already built in your life. And that's the power of being alone. You know, you stop settling for energy that drains you. You start protecting your peace like it's gold, because it genuinely is. It's mental gold. So just find the meaning in the silence. Silence isn't empty, it's information. It's just how you depict that information and how you go about it is the key. It shows you where your thoughts go when there's nowhere left to hide, when there's no distractions in your face. And if those thoughts make you uncomfortable, that's a good thing. That means you're finally listening to the concerns that the subconscious is trying to give you. You can't fix what you keep drowning out with noise. Growth is steady and it's quiet. It's not a post. It's not a quote. It's not a highlight. It's you in a room realizing who you actually are without anyone's applause. So when does being alone become enough? One day you're gonna realize, you're gonna wake up, you're not gonna check your phone right away. You just don't care too much about the validation that it's gonna bring. You just existed simply. And that's what peace feels like. It's not excitement, it's not adrenaline, but it's simply just clarity, like I've stated. And the moment you reach that, being alone doesn't feel like absence. It feels like you're finding some sort of alignment with life. I've kind of been keeping these videos a little bit shorter. I feel like it's easier to intake information when the video is not too long. So I'll try to keep it under 10 minutes, around like 7 to 8. You know what I'm saying? It just depends. However long it takes me to get my point across, I won't ever keep it short if it needs to be longer. But I will say all this to say, learning to be alone is like learning to breathe underwater. It feels pretty impossible at first, but once you get it, nothing around you can drown you anymore. And in life, that's what we would call real strength. Because when you're finally comfortable with being yourself, you can stop chasing the world, the outside world, and start attracting what's meant for you genuinely. Because you're not lost, you're just becoming solidified in what you truly believe. Yeah, this is TNL. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.